very qualified is going to be the deputy, who is also a seasoned politician himself and somebody who is part of the founding members of the APC. I think that it is too early to call anything to say that it is that Governor Chuma Soludo may be home and dry for November 8th. But as of today, if you take an opinion sample in Anambra State today, from what people are saying in the streets or elsewhere on social media, Governor Chuma Soludo is the man to beat for 2024 November. But what happens once the campaign begins and with the quality of candidates that have emerged in other parties, it's not something that the APOGA need to, of course, they know that it's a task to return Governor Chuma Soludo on November 8th because we have just now a lot of heavyweights and people you can push over at all. Nicholas Ukachukwu has a lot of capacity, and that is the APC, the ruling party. We are not sure where, nobody is sure yet if the president has given the nod to supporting APOGA in Anambra State, because of course, as far as we are concerned, all we heard on Thursday was a political statement both from the governor and from the president. What is left to be seen is where their actions, what they are going to do as we lead up to November 8th. But suffice it to say that there is at least a three-horse race between Governor Chukwu Soludo, Chief George Moalo of the Labour Party, as well as Nicholas Ukachukwu of the APC. So November 8th will be very interesting, and I'm thinking that Governor Chukwu Soludo may score just a bit lesser, because last time he won in 2021, he scored above 40% of the votes. I'm thinking that even if he's going to win, it's going to be probably less than 35% of the votes.
You said that he's now half as popular, as he was in 2021 when he ran the first tenure. I'm just wondering how much of Peter Obi's influence, or should I say, how much of his non-support for Peter Obi in the 2023 election dampened his popularity in Anambra State?
Well, you look at it from the angle of what the APOGA party have always preached all the years, so people are seeing Governor Professor Soludo as somebody along one near. Along one near in the sense, I think for the non-Igbo listeners, mean that you shouldn't leave your brother behind. And so his actions in 2023 his actions were interpreted as though he left his brother behind, his brother Peter Obi behind in support of others. And in politics, politics is local. And for the Anambra, who gave 97% of their votes, even despite his criticisms and his articles, in series of articles lampooning Peter Obi, who, of course, is being seen as somebody who did nothing to him. Of course, you find that the sentiments of the masses in Anambra State, so many people who used to like him, no longer like him on that note. And of course, you also see the other option, the other angle of his loss of popularity is also coming from the fact that when he came on board, he promised a Dubai Taiwan Anambra. And the Anambra, a lot of people still feel that his performance so far has been underwhelming. When you compare it with the kind of laudable promises he made in 2021 leading up to the election. And so on these two counts, he's lost a lot of steam. You also know that Governor Peter Obi is still considered the best governor Anambra had up till now. Even up till now, you see with the indices in education and how Anambra is falling back in education, people are now comparing and saying, okay, if a trader could put Anambra at number 1 and 2 throughout his 8 years, how come a professor is putting us at number 28, in a performances in WAEC and NECO? And so there are questions that to be answered. People are saying that Governor Chukwu Soludo is not living up to expectation, and his criticism of Peter Obi is also not helping the matter, because as far as Anambra is concerned, Peter Obi would always be a factor. Will always be a factor, far more than Soludo would be in terms of national politics.
So if Peter Obi's influence, really affected his popularity, would that really make him lose that elections on November 8th, you think?
It will. It depends on what happens. Again, this would now bring me to look at the candidate of the Labour Party, which is Chief George Moalo. If Peter Obi brings his weight, puts his weight during the campaigns and comes down to Anambra to really campaign alongside somebody as sitting that George Moalo, I don't know who is going to pitch for his deputy. Of course, you see how that could cause a lot of trouble in terms of how people are going to vote, because of we note that Labour Party is very recognizable. I mean, their logo. People just last election in 2023, a lot of people voted overwhelmingly for Labour Party across the Southeast, not just in Anambra State. So if Peter Obi should bear his weight down in Anambra for the campaign and really come out and lead that campaign alongside George Moghalu, then you would find that it's going to be a very serious tough one for Governor Kuma Soludo. Then if you add that to the APC, with Lagos and the deputy now, the election, I don't know if it's confirmed officially, with Ekunife deputizing him. This election is going to be the toughest one ever, as I see it. It's not as the people, some people are looking at it, especially people in the ruling or progressive Grand Alliance. They're not seeing the bigger picture of the effects of the support that Governor Soludo gave to denied Peter Obi in 2023. It's going to be a huge talking point for this election.
Now, this election looks to me like a double-edged sword for Peter Obi going into the 2027 election. I mean, that is his state. That is the only state that gave him 97%, votes in the last elections. Do you think he should be interested? Do you think, he should be vested in this? Because it's also going to spiral with the results. When the result comes out and maybe APGA wins, it will look like he or Labour Party, their steam has been reduced. There is this talk in town about the fact that Labour Party has been decimated. Peter Obi's popularity has dwindled over time, giving to experiences of what we're seeing in the Labour Party and or whatnot. Do you think he should be interested in Anambra state election? Some people say, he should not be interested because Anambra is given for the presidential. But in the state election, do you think there's something to show for it so that, when he goes into the national, people can point out to the result of the Anambra elections and say, look, by and large, he was able to bring his weight and the results show that he's still popular?
Well, you know that by now that Peter Obi is what he is. Amidst all these whole tantrums being thrown by the governor unprovoked, Peter Obi has maintained his cap because he alone knows how much how much he's endeared to the hearts of Anambra. And so you will find that his participation in the state government election would count so much. Why it will count is that Labour needs to pull their weight. Labour needs to be seen as a force in Anambra State. The people who say that it will not affect the outcome of the presidential election are correct. They are correct because, the Igbos, especially in the Anambra, they are very educated. We have a